All right, so I don't know what you guys have on your agenda that you need to discuss, but I was thinking that perhaps we could have some contribution to the charter project, the charter paper I'm writing. And it would just be simple things like some key metrics for our project. We have to create a table where we define success for the project. And I think it'd be good to have the group input on that.
Okay. So, I mean, one would be like to measure up to the indexing number, right? That would be one way.
Yeah, that's one that I was looking at, and I put on there was actual time spent. Is that kind of what you're looking for there?
Are you talking about the grayed out tables?
Yeah.
The grayed out tables was just a copy paste.
Right. I put one underneath it though.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what the idea is? Something like that? Or I just kind of threw that on there?
Yeah, I think that is exactly what they're looking for. I would definitely describe the actual time spent indexing as a key metric for the project.
Together with the batches, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say batches completed.
Because I think the time was the one where we can't fully measure it, I think. Or at least that's how I felt. Because we give everyone the 20 minutes per day. But like the ultimate goal will be the 2 batches so that they have something to kind of strive for. And if they spent more time during the week or less time, I mean, we can't fully decide on that if they actually do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's 2 batches per week per person?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's something maybe, like it sounds like since now we have to complete this, actually, ourselves, should we change this? Or does everyone still feel we're okay with the 4? Or should we change this back to the original one, which was just 1 extra person, a team member?
I think asking us to find 4 volunteers each is setting this up for failure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it should be reduced.
So do you want to go halfway, or do you want to just 1 other person? How are you guys feeling?
I'm thinking. I'm wondering if we do too many, we're just going to have a bunch of failures. So I think that having something that's doable for students, online students as well, that maybe don't have the most social life like me, do like maybe 1.
Okay. How does everyone else feel? I'm okay with just 1. How does everyone else feel?
I'm good with that, because then if we get even more, right, we could, like, I mean, I'm just saying you could go above that, but
right. So should we then shoot for a number for the whole group, and then we can kind of fill it out, and everyone kind of feels like, okay, I can do 1, I can do 2, I can do 3, and then we kind of go from there? Or so how do you guys want to do that?
Well,
I say we just keep
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying I think it's better to keep it consistent from person to person, unless you really feel like we need to get our number up. And I mean, I have 5 kids, and 3 of them are over the age of 10. So I can find my 4 people in just my family if I need to.
Okay, so you're fine with 4. Who was the one with the 1? Was it you, Justin, or was it her? Okay.
But would it make more sense to keep it uniform from person to person?
In a sense, yes. But at the same time, if we just shoot for a number and then we kind of divide it out, I think as long as it's set beforehand, as long as we know what it is, then I don't think it's bad if we have different numbers. Like, it would sound better if you all invite the same number. But maybe it's just like, hey, as a group, we wanted to invite so and so many people, and that's kind of where we go from. Because the thing is, it has to be still, I think Michael was writing something about the team, no, what was it called? That we trained them in the beginning, like a training schedule. member training. And it sounded like he wants to do it as a group, but I was proposing or trying to see if maybe we can just do it per group member, like that we just kind of are in charge of our own little group, whoever we will invite.
If we have 4 people apiece, like, I mean, I know we're talking about moving that number down, but there's no way we would be able to get all, what are there, 5 of us?
Everyone together.
And then the 4 people that we invite.
Right.
No way we could get all 30 people to have the same schedule for a training.
Right, because it's already hard enough for us right now, right? As a normal group, like just we already can't meet.
I like that suggestion.
I agree. Okay, good.
And that's the whatchamacallit, the scope thing that we're working on this week.
That was from the group scope options that was in there, but I think it still has to do with the charter as well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's both, because both of them have to write about it, correct?
I haven't.
With the charter, is that Justin? No. Yes, Justin, you're working on the charter.
Yeah. What was the question?
You still have to kind of write about that too, right? Like how many we're actually doing, like how many we're inviting, and how we doing?
Let's see, resources, time, and cost. I guess feasibility need, scope. Yeah, it's probably in there.
I would think that it would fall under resources, because even though it doesn't cost money, it costs people's time. So I would think that would fall under resources.
Yeah, it's something I need to put into the charter. So we just need to decide how we're going to break it up. If we all need to do one, or we can each do according to what's possible for each of us. And that would be not too hard to write down. We could do like a poll and just get that information, people write it in or something. I know for me, getting 4 people is going to be impossible. I've got kids, but they're 9 years old and under.
That's fine. I think we should just stick to the 1 additional person for each person.
Okay. That would mean if everyone in our group does that, we have like 8 people. And that'd be more manageable than 30.
Well, it'll be actually, we have 6 in a group, so we'll have 12.
Oh, I thought, well, when I said 8, I thought we had 8 people, and then I was thinking that it would be the invitees. But yeah, so 12 people. Mm-hmm. And that would be easier to get them all together and to the same training than 30.
Well, I think the training, I think it's still the same issue, because even, like I said, like right now, we already can't all meet together just with our team members. And I'm in a different time zone, and whoever I'm going to invite might not make it at the same time either, because they have their work schedule. And I can usually meet in the mornings, but not everyone can.
Yeah,
my time zone, for example.
That training. Sorry, guys, my son's playing with a puzzle and sewing the pieces, but I think we should leave it up to the individual person that invited the person. So like the original group member works out training with. However, if we are actually implementing this, it's been years since I've done the indexing. So I might need somebody to show me how to do it before I can show somebody else how to do it.
And maybe that could be part of the training, is having all of us go to because don't they have indexing places in most wards? I'm not sure, but, or like in the stake or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I know that we have like a family history center, and I'm sure that they do the indexing stuff in there, but I teach Sunday school, and then, my husband teaches Sunday school, and then I teach Relief Society. And so between the 2 hours, pretty hard for us to get in there. But that doesn't mean I couldn't make it work.
It's a very good point, though, and this is something we need to decide on, because there's different, so you can actually learn it online as well. And I think family history centers, they don't necessarily know exactly everything about indexing. Like some maybe know it, but it's on I feel like an additional individual basis. Because I actually called, like when I made this project, I was like, oh, I wonder if I can get some input from, like, because of the batches, like, well, how many can we do? It was, I called someone who was in charge of that in our ward. And she actually said, like, oh, she doesn't actually do it, or she's never done it, and so she had no idea. So it's not, they don't usually get trained on it, but there's lots of training online. Like, so the the actual of how you do it. There's videos. I mean, I can go find the link again. I can share that one with you guys. But it's usually lots of things are online.
Gotcha.
And I guess it depends on like how we learn, because some people learn better if they have someone next to them, right? And that would be then kind of like how we teach it to the one we invite. But yeah, so should I share that one once I find it? Would that help?
I think that'd be great.
Okay, and then, but it's true though. In the beginning, I mean, that's part of. Is it then part of our 4 weeks that we get trained on it? Because I guess we can't assume that everyone knows how to do it, right? We plan on having that one be part of the first week, that we each learn it first, or should this happen beforehand?
No, I think that can be part of it. Without any issue. And then we could take the training of our volunteers on an individual basis rather than as a group effort.
Mm-hmm. All right, so are we then just deciding for everyone, we'll just do the one person? So we'll just, and then if someone wants to invite more, they can, but it doesn't have to, or?
I think that'd be the easiest way to do it. But
okay, so then there's something else, and it's I was looking at how to set up challenges, because there's actually, you can make groups on the indexing site. Like when you go to Family Search and you can go click on indexing, and then it kind of leads you there. Mm-hmm. You can make your own groups. You can make your own group where you can invite other people. And so I feel like that's then where all of us 12, we kind of have to go in there, right? Like, I mean, should we just make it that one of us sets it up and then we invite everyone in there? Because that's actually where we see the data. Like, that's where we see who has or how many batches have been done. Like, that's where we get all the information.
Make sure we're all doing it.
Yeah. Has anyone heard about that one? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Is this completely new?
I haven't heard of that. I thought it was just they could split up by wards, but I didn't know they could do it like that. It's really cool though. Yeah,
I mean, I think I would need people's name though, in a sense, or I'm not sure exactly how to set it up, if it's by email and you kind of accept that one or not. I have not fully understood that portion. But usually, yeah, you can make a group, and then from there you can see what's been done. And that's how we can keep track of our progress, right? Like,
is that like the find a project section? Is that, or create a project?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think that's how you can make your own or find it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I set up a fake one. We could try to see if we could join that one if I have it open. But yeah, if you guys look at that one, like maybe they'll give you a bit more of an idea of what this means. And it can later on, like you can actually get like a full report and it shows you like which days people have been doing that, or like exactly the numbers. So, I mean, the tools are there for sure.
I'm not sure now that I'm looking at this, I'm not sure if that's how this really works. I don't, if that's where we go to do that, because this like gives you an option to join like current projects, but I don't see where you create your
own. What do you mean by, sorry? You don't think we
sorry, say that again?
You don't think we can make our own project? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not sure if we can or not. I'm just saying I don't think that it's in that same spot. Okay, I don't know how to do it is what I'm saying.
Yeah, let me find it. Okay, so while I find it, we can talk about something else though.
Well, okay, how's the group scope options document going?
It's looking really good. There's some things that we need to fix, like we needed to get on the same page about like the number of people that we were going to invite, and how many, like what our minimum goal of indexing batches is.
Mm-hmm.
But than that, I'm sorry, say that again.
How long does a batch take?
Bye.
I don't really know what a batch is.
So a batch is usually like, it's kind of a accumulation of multiple records. Like you just go through like multiple pages kind of, or yeah, like you read through those documents. Have you ever seen a picture of something? Like, do you know what they look like?
Yeah, it's pictures of documents that have been scanned in. So
yeah, and so you just read through them and like write them down. Sorry, like, so they say, I think online they were saying that one batch takes about half an hour on average, but we kind of pushed it up and said, okay, we'll give an hour for each batch just in case if anything happens, or if we get stuck or whatever, or we change a batch or something like that, because you can return them, right? If you don't like them, you can return it and start a new batch actually. So we kind of count for one batch for each thing, and that's how we get to the 2 batches per week and the 20 minutes, because you kind of give 2 hours for the whole week that you spend on those 2 batches. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you actually have a free day, because 2 hours is really just like when you count 20 minutes each day, that's really just 6 days. So you have a 7th day, which is your extra buffer or whatever.
Okay.
So I just went onto the Family Search site, and it looks like you can become an administrator and make a group. They have a little tutorial video. I don't know. I could look more into it and let you guys know if you want, or if there's something else you guys had in mind.
Yeah, I think that kind of sounds like what we wanted to do, like where you make your own, you create your own group.
Yeah, and it says you can invite group members to join, and then you can create and support, and then use reports to track everyone's progress.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. I'll look a little more into it, and then I'll post the link on there, and so everyone can get that.
Sounds good.
So as far as the math on it, I just need to think through this out loud. So each of the founding members will invite one additional person, a minimum. Let's just say it that way. Invite a minimum of one additional person.
Okay.
That way, if one person invites 3 people or something like that, we've at least covered our minimum. What do you think?
That works.
I like that.
And that way you can actually include all your kids. You don't have to say only you.
Okay, and then so the group will complete a minimum number. Okay, I'm trying to read what he wrote here and it doesn't make sense. As a whole, the group will complete a minimum of X number of indexing batches during the 4-week period. So if there are 6 of us and we each invite one additional person, that's 12 people.
And then times 8, because each person completes 8 at the end of 4 weeks. So it's 12 times 8, and that will be 96. And so my initial one is that we can pump it up to 100 to have an even number. But 96 would be the actual number.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All the questions that I have. Yep.
Okay. So that'll be 90. What did it say? 96.
96.
Yeah. And then I think so. Harlan had mentioned something initially about a stretch challenge, and I like that idea too, where we can just say, okay, then maybe our stretch challenge will be something higher, like 100 or 150, something like that, or double even, or something like that. If that makes sense.
Yeah. do we want to set our stretch goal to be like 150? I don't know. Like 120? I feel like 150 is almost like.
So what if we do it by batch? Like if we say, okay, each person, because we can only get full batches, like that's how we kind of see how much has been done. So what if we take, so each person does 8 altogether, right? So if we add like 1 or 2 to it, so if we make it 10, well, yeah, either 9 or 10, depending on that. I mean, that's how we can also get a number, and maybe that's more understandable.
So like 120 batches.
So like 10, yeah, 120 would be then if everyone does the 12, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, if everyone does.
That's only like 3 extra people, isn't it?
Either 3 extra people or what is it? 2 extra batches per person.
But that's over the full 4 weeks, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that could be 1, and then maybe we can even push it higher and say like this is stretch 1, stretch 2 will be even more. I don't know. That's really up to, that depends on who is actually going to join it, I think. But do you feel like we can do more than that? I mean, we can definitely make it higher.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't really done it that I feel like I can totally say like, yeah, that's doable, or no.
If you find one person who's like really excited about this,
yeah, then we're set.
I think, but if you find one person or 4 people who are kind of meh about it, then I don't know if it's possible or not.
At least, yeah.
I mean, my other question is, when is this actually going to happen? Because if this is like during finals week or something, then I'll be honest, I probably won't do too much. But
it's a good question. I think to me, it sounded like it's during the Agile one, which would happen in 3 weeks from now. Is that right? Like we have 2 more weeks with Waterfall, and then it's the actual one with.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Scrum starts in lesson 8. I think.
Lesson. Oh, that's later though. Wait. Because we're in 4 right now. So 5, 6. So maybe it's much later then. But it's a good point.
So lesson 5 is planning and define. Lesson 6 is execution. Lesson 7 is closing. Lesson 8 is adapting. And then lesson 9 is Scrum intro.
Oh.
But even if we started in lesson 9, we'd be finishing probably by lesson 13, and then lesson 14 is finals. So I think we'd be done before.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because if it's 9, it would be 9, 10, 11, 12 actually even, right?
Yeah, but that's if we start in lesson 9. My guess is that first week, lesson 9 is probably like an intro and we don't actually start anything quite yet. Like maybe lesson 10 is when we get rolling.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. It could be either.
I think we switch groups. Like, I don't think we execute our own.
What?
Is it that? I swear I read something about that.
No, I did not. I did not.
Okay, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's a different class.
That would be weird, though. I mean, that would really prove like, okay, is it doable? But I feel like we're kind of basing it off of our group right now. So that.
And that's what I thought. Like, I thought that it was like, I swear it was this class where we don't execute our own project, that we get it like ready, set, and then we switch with somebody else. And that, but then because that's when he said it doesn't, your grade isn't dependent on whether or not you succeed at the project.
As I'll say, because that could be hard if someone has something specific for their community or something.
That's why they want you to plan so well, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm crazy. I will do it and I will find out for sure. I'll figure out where I saw that at.
Wait, but lesson 6 says execution. Doesn't that mean?
But I think that's execution of somebody else's plan.
That's okay. We're bumping our numbers up.
And then one of us gets stuck with it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me look into it and I'll let you know. Like, I swear I read that somewhere or watched a video on it or something, but I will look into it and I will let you know.
Yeah, I mean, right now what I see, like if I go into lesson 6 and I look at waterfall project execution report, for example, it says your deliverable this week is to work your project and provide a full detailed status. Like to me, that sounds like it's ours, but
it is. Maybe I'm just crazy. I'm aware that I read that, but maybe it was a different class or something that I'm confusing.
All right, well, we'll find out soon, but I hope not, because I don't know, that just would be weird. Like if we have to adapt to someone else's where we haven't put any thought into it or something. I'm not sure.
I'll send him an email and ask him.
Sounds good.
It's easier than having to search for it.
Oh, has anyone seen, because I'm supposed to do a project report for this week, right? And I can't actually post anything. Have you guys seen that too? There's a discussion board, but there's no option to actually add the thread. Kind of like how we had our group discussion where it looked like it was our group discussion board, but it's not. Like there's no way to actually write on it.
Oh yeah, I'll bring that up in the same email that I'm sending him.
Okay, sounds good. Because I only did the discussion board question. Like I actually asked someone on the discussion board, but I'm not sure how often you can check that one. So that'll be great. Thank you.
Yeah,
I can't access that either. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'm missing my little green check mark because of that.
Yeah.
Right. Also the team formation, because only one of us has submitted it, it just looks like it's late now.
Yeah, so I have the same thing, but for a different, because I was the one who submitted the team formation. So I have that box checked, but then I'm still showing missing for 2 activities in lesson.
The quiz, right? I think for me it was a quiz as well. The team quiz.
Yeah, the team quiz and then the discussion board, the project team discussion board I'm missing. So it still says I have 2 things missing for lesson 3.
Right.
I think eventually when he gets caught up on grading, those things will go away. But I promise you I did submit the team formation. So don't
Thank you.
worry about that.
Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, I'm sending this out. Is there anything else we need to meet about?
No, is there anything else to put in the report as well? Like that's kind of the same.
I think we're good for right now.
You guys got any thoughts on our main metrics for determining if our project was successful?
The main thing we started. I'm sorry, we went off track.
Could this include the training of the people we recruit, the volunteers? I'm just trying to think of our goals and what we're trying to.
Yeah, so it's like a description and measurement, but it's not actually about just the success. It's about specific items, or what is it? Is it really just about the finishing? Like what items do we write down?
Yeah,
we had
define success or quality metrics of the project. So yeah, I'm not really sure what else what other things were.
All right, so batch is completed. Our goal is to have 2 batches completed per person. Yeah, actually we can have, so batch is complete. Maybe we have to be a bit more specific, that we either say our end goal, like the specific one. Or like, yeah, we measure it by like if we do our group, right, we can actually see how much has been done. And so we measure it. Although, I mean, another goal for this assignment or this project is, I guess, it's for one, the batches, yes, but it's also the consistency, right? Like if we want people to get excited about it and actually do it and not just not do it. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know how to measure that one. Like that's not really, I feel like that's on an individual basis. Because
everything, I don't know how.
Yeah, it's on the spiritual side more, right? Not the actual measurable one.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, doing the training the volunteers, because that's pretty easy to measure. Like, did you train them, yes or no, kind of thing. But I don't know.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, so volunteers recruited and then volunteers trained, like because you can see actually that you've trained them by them doing it in a sense, or.
Yeah, so training completed, something, or training the volunteers. don't know if that's what we're looking for, but something like that.
How about a metric could be getting youth involved in this? Like, I don't know how old you have to be to index, but maybe.
Would we need to add that into the scope then? Or the other?
I would think so.
That's another question. If we add something on here, does that probably has to be somewhere else in there?
Yeah, probably, because we're measuring it, right? Like it has to be first announced and then we can measure it.
Yeah.
How many metrics do we have to have?
At least
5 at least.
Oh, dang.
The thing is, our measurement is really like there's a lot that we can't fully measure, right? Because it's.
I wonder if that kind of works in like with the requirements. I don't know, because that's exactly like we have to have 5 requirements, like 5 characteristics on how we judge if it's a good requirement. I don't know.
Like, could they transfer over kind of thing?
Yeah, like so one of them is invitation. And that's like where we invite the one additional person. And he missed what I was saying about this. Like the requirements are like they have to be clear and concise and they have to be measurable and valuable. I don't know. He missed what I was saying about listing what specific characteristic we were.
Well, we have a metric for volunteers recruited, but we could also have one for invitations.
Right. So maybe that's saying we invite 4 people, but only recruited 1 per person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
and
like,
how do we? Okay.
ask for people, but maybe only a minimum of 1 additional person said, yes, I'll do it.
So how do we measure? I can see that one, but how do we measure the invitation? Like, do we need to prove everyone like, hey, here, I reached out to this person and this person and this person? Like, how do you measure that? The invitation portion?
I think that would have to just be on the honor system, but I don't know if that works for this project. Or maybe we could do it by email. Or, I mean, is it okay like to have people report back to the group and we put it in a spreadsheet and that's how we measure it?
I think there is, like you said, there is some honor portion in there because I guess if we have a spreadsheet, maybe we can all, well, maybe, should we assign one person as in charge of collecting all that data? Because I mean, maybe not everyone will do it, or should we just be like, okay, yes, we're gonna rely on each one of us in a group that we always report? How do we do that?
We can do that in our weekly meetings. So say like we were implementing the invitation part this week. Then at our next meeting on Tuesday, we can have each person return and report. Like, this is how many people I asked this week. This is how many people I'm still waiting to hear back from. This is how many people said yes. This is how many people said no.
Okay.
That, and then if we start that group thing that you were talking about with like the administrator having a group of everybody that shows their information, then that could also be a way of getting that as we put them in the group.
That's a good point.
Right, because they can accept the invitation, right? They can probably, like, if you send it out, whoever accepts it is part of the group. That's right. measurement. That's a good point. So it's volunteers, invitation to volunteers, and then volunteers recruited. So it's the two different ones.
To put on the charter.
Mm-hmm.
So you have volunteers recruited, and what'd you say? Volunteer recruit or invitation?
Invitation, yeah. And that's where Kim was saying, like, we just do the report in our meeting. And whoever doesn't show up to the meeting, like maybe we just say, maybe we set a deadline or something like that we say.
That's how we measure it, is the weekly meeting?
Weekly meeting plus email, yeah. Because not everyone will be able to attend. Email or spreadsheet. Maybe spreadsheet.
I think we need to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
I say make it specific for the spreadsheet. Because like that's one of the things about keeping your requirements specific, because if you give either or, then there's room for confusion.
Okay,
so you say even not even the meeting, but just spreadsheet, or just the spreadsheet or email?
Just spreadsheet, that we track it in a Google document, like a Google spreadsheet that everybody is required to report no later than, I mean, and we can use our meeting time as the time, but like we give a specific date and time that they need to have their reports for that week, that previous week in. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm articulating this well.
No, I think that makes sense. And then the team meeting can also be as a reminder or something that we say, has everyone done this? By
the end of our team meeting, you need to have, so I wouldn't reference the team meeting, but like reference the spreadsheet, and then our reports need to be in on the spreadsheet no later than pick one of the days. So like Thursday at 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time.
So you're saying track through Google document where we report weekly?
Yes.
Okay.
And then, like I said, adding that specific date and time that everybody has to have their invitation report in, like that makes it more specific and clear.
So then not the weekly, maybe take the weekly out. Because it's a one-time thing, right? I mean, the volunteer invitation just happens in the beginning and it shouldn't continue.
Well, but that's the thing too, is like, yeah, no, you're right. Because I was going to say, like, say you invite somebody last week, but they say, let me think about it, or they don't respond right away. Say you do it by text message or email and they don't respond right away. And they say that, so they don't respond until after the report, but then they say, hey, yeah, I'll do it. So that's, I mean, then it's going to be too late. So sad. So too bad. So sad.
Well, because the issue is that we're already counting the first week as our batching week, right? Like we actually index. And we left some leeway that people can still do it. But I feel like if we leave too much time in the first week, then we won't be able to actually do the actual indexing. So maybe actually in the first week, we can only do one batch or not even a full, I don't know.
Or we move our deadline to Tuesday instead of Thursday.
Okay, and then just everyone work faster? Because, well, so maybe then, I think then actually we have to only do one batch in that first week or something. Or because in that first week, we have the invitation, we have to hear back until we actually recruit them officially. And we have to show them, like we have to train the ones that actually finally accept by Tuesday, right? So then that's like by Wednesday, kind of, because I don't know. Does it make sense? Like I feel like it keeps going. So we really just have half a week left.
I kind of feel like maybe we're making that harder than it needs to be.
Okay.
You know, because I don't think it should take more than a day to invite people. And if it does, then I think we're putting too much emphasis on that part. Okay.
So when do you want to have them to be trained by? By Tuesday?
Yeah, that's something to consider. I didn't think about the training part. Like I thought about the invitation part. That's why I was like, it doesn't make sense to have to back off on your batch number.
No, I meant the training initially. Like because it takes, like you have one day to invite and get feedback plus then the actual training.
So if invitation was due by Tuesday, training could be done by Thursday? Is that too short of a window?
Yeah.
Or
so then we still need to limit our batch number.
For the first week at least.
For the first week.
Yeah.
But now we have to type that into everything. And
well, okay, so either we limit it or we just need to move faster, that we say as soon as people have moved out, we explain it to them, because it shouldn't take too long. Like the actual training should not be too long. Once we know what's going on.
Leave it exactly like it is, and then encourage people to move quicker that week. Or does our challenge work that if, say, this week I was only able to do 3 batches and next week I was able to do 5? Is it an average, or is it, no, I have to have 4 batches a week?
I think as long as we do our end goal, we'll be fine. We want to be able to be consistent, but I guess we do have some leeway. Like if you want to do more, like you said, in one week and less in the other, you can still do it. Okay. So 2 is the average because of the 20 minutes. It's the okay. But I think you only have you have 1 week once you accept a batch. I think you have 1 week to finish it. So I'm not sure what happens after that, if they just take it back. I think so. So you do still have to finish one particular batch within 1 week.
Like you don't have to accept all 4 batches at once. Like you can just take one batch at a time, right?
Right. Yeah. I think that's how you do it. You actually just accept one at a time.
Yeah. And I was looking through this group scope options, and that's kind of how he talks about like the training. Like we make sure people understand how to navigate the website and how to start a batch and submit a batch and then save it if you're in the middle of a batch, and how to access like one that you've already started but didn't finish.
Oh, perfect. I have not read through the whole thing, but that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he has that in the test cases at the bottom.
Perfect.
So does that give you an answer to your question, Justin?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So we're still missing one then?
Do we have a metric?
Yeah, we have one volunteer invitation. Oh yeah, so there's quality. There's actually examples, right? There's one that says on time. The description would be project is completed within 3 months of start. Yep. Measurement, if the project completes within a week plus or minus of the target date, it is on time. So maybe we can actually do that's where we can talk about our individual weekly goals, that we say even though like you're still on time, even if you've only done 1 batch in 1 week, you're still on time if our end result has been met or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if the 8 per person are met by a minimum, then we've still done it. Or even just an overall one. It might not even be
a weekly
one. A person per the whole thing. It might even be for the project is still completed if even if not everyone individually has met their individual goals, as long as they've tried, kind of.
I think the weekly goals might be good because those can be used as gate checks.
Yeah.
Gate checks, yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm.
But
do you feel like it should still be as a group or per person?
I think that could be as a group.
Yeah, I do too. Because that way it gives us a little more flexibility if, say, I was able to do 5 this week and somebody else was only able to do 2 or 3, So
well, a week is really, it's 2. 2 is your actual measurement. It's 2 a week.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry.
But yes, you can do more. If you do 5 and the other one 0, I mean, you've covered both and even extra.
Okay.
So I guess that makes sense. So if we're...
So we just say our weekly goal as a group is accomplished. So saying it's on time, we're saying our weekly goal as a group is achieved.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And maybe say the specific number then, because we have 12 times 2, right? So just a 24 is our weekly goal.
So our weekly goal of 24 as a group is achieved.
Mm-hmm.
And then to measure that, I mean, it's pretty simple. If we finish 24, we're on time.
Yeah, it's not measured by a person. It's on a group basis to kind of account for those that might be a bit slower in the training, which is totally fine. Or just had busy week, which is also very possible, right? That can happen.
Yeah.
So that way, kind of the whole group makes up for everyone else in a sense.
Yeah, and then say we have an extra person, then it still helps too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'll update the scope options paper so that it says we invite 4 people, but then report with a commitment from at least 1 more person.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
All right, sounds good. I think we're good then, aren't we?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sweet. We'll just go through and finish up these little details and we'll be good to go.
Yep.
Sounds good. If there's any other questions, just write per email or something and we'll try to help.
Okay, sounds good. I'll let you know what I hear back from Brother Salisbury. I already sent that email out asking him if he can open up that discussion board for us.
Great. Thank you.
Find out.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.